I smooth the white lace of my beautiful wedding dress. My hand shakes slightly, but I cannot stop smiling today. The church organ hums through the heavy closed wooden doors. You look absolutely perfect, Sarah says, gently adjusting my veil. Is he already out there waiting for me? I ask. Of course. 5 years together, and today's the day. I laugh softly. I know, I just cannot believe it. Are you ready for this? She asks, squeezing my hand. I am more than ready, I say, taking a breath. The music shifts to the bridal march. My heart pounds. The doors begin to open. Then her phone suddenly buzzes. She looks down at the screen. Her face turns pale. Sarah, what is it? I ask, stepping toward her quickly. She does not speak. She just stares at the screen. Sarah, talk to me. The music is playing right now. It is Mark, she whispers, her voice trembling with fear. What about him? Did he forget the rings? I joke. She shakes her head slowly. Tears fill her wide eyes. Read it, she says, pushing the phone into my hands. I look down at the bright screen. My vision blurs. The text message is short. It is from his number. I'm sorry. I can't do this. The cruel text reads. No, I whisper. This is a joke. A bad joke. I am so sorry, Sarah cries, reaching out for me. He would never do this to me, not today, Sarah. I tried calling him, she says. It goes to voicemail. Call him again, I scream, panic rising in my chest. I did. His phone is completely turned off now, sweetie. The heavy stone chills my skin through my white dress. Get up, please get up, Sarah begs, pulling my arm. He left me, I gasp, struggling to breathe in air. We need to go to the back room, she urges. How could he just leave me right here? I ask. I hear whispers echoing from the front of the church. The guests are noticing the delay. The music awkwardly stops. Look at her. A woman whispers loudly from the pews. Did the groom run away? A man asks his wife. Their voices sound like buzzing bees inside my spinning head. Please, let us go hide in the back, Sarah pleads. I gave him 5 years of my life, I sob. I know, honey. I know, she cries, hugging me tight. We planned a family. We planned a future together, Sarah. He is a coward, she says, wiping my wet cheeks. Why today? Why let me put on this stupid dress? I do not know, she says softly, kissing my forehead. My chest tightens. A terrible dark realization washes over me. The man I loved is gone. My future is dead. I grab the edge of my delicate, expensive white veil. I rip it off my head and throw it away. Do you want me to tell the guest? Sarah asks. Tell them to go home, I say, my voice breaking. Okay, just stay here on the floor. I will go. She stands up and walks out to face the crowd. I sit alone on the stone floor, completely broken inside. I stare at the phone still resting in my lap. Those 7 words echo endlessly inside my dark, empty mind. He threw away my love in a single text message. I close my eyes and let the bitter tears fall. My perfect dream wedding has become my worst living nightmare. Drink some water, please, Sarah begs, holding out a plastic cup. I cannot keep anything down, I groan, leaning over the cheap motel toilet. It has been 3 days. The stress is destroying your stomach. My whole life is destroyed, I say, wiping my mouth with a thin towel. You need to eat something. Just leave me alone for a minute, please. Sarah sighs and walks out, closing the bathroom door. My phone buzzes on the cracked sink. It is Emma, my bridesmaid. Hello? I answer, my voice hoarse. Hey, honey. How are you holding up? Emma asks softly. How do you think? I am hiding in a cheap motel. I am so sorry. We all feel terrible about this. Why did he do it, Emma? Why did he leave? I mean, he was acting distant at the rehearsal dinner. He even mentioned feeling trapped. Just to a few of us, we thought it was normal pre-wedding jitters. You knew he was having doubts? My voice rises in anger. We did not think he would actually leave you at the altar. You stood beside me while I put on that dress, knowing he wanted out? Please do not be mad at me. I wanted to tell you. Do not ever call me again, I snap, hanging up the phone. I stare at the blank screen, feeling completely betrayed by my own friends. My stomach violently churns again. But this time, a dark, terrifying thought crosses my mind. It is not just the stress of Emma's betrayal or Mark's sudden departure. My period is late. Sarah, I am going to the pharmacy next door, I yell, grabbing my heavy coat. I need to do this entirely alone. The bright neon lights of the pharmacy make my eyes hurt. I buy the test in total silence. 10 minutes later, I'm back in the cramped motel bathroom. The plastic stick rests on the cold counter. I stare at the digital clock. 3 long minutes. Please just be one line, I whisper to myself. Please do not do this to me. The timer beeps loudly. I close my eyes, take a deep breath, and look down. 2 bright pink lines stare back at me. No, I choke out. This simply cannot be happening. I grip the edges of the sink, staring at my pale, terrified reflection in the stained mirror. You are pregnant, I tell my reflection. He left you, and you are pregnant. There is only one real answer. I wipe my tears, a sudden fierce anger replacing my overwhelming sadness. I grab my car keys off the counter. I am not doing this alone, I say aloud. I'm going to Mark's apartment right now, and he's going to tell me exactly why he ruined our lives. I push the heavy door of that familiar apartment open. It is completely unlocked, so I step right inside immediately. Mark, we need to talk right now, I demand loudly. I freeze in the center of the modern living room. Beside him stands Chloe, the wealthy daughter of his CEO. What are you doing here? Mark asks, stepping back quickly. You left me at the altar. We have to talk. Keep your voice down, he mutters, looking nervously at Chloe. Is this your little runaway bride? Chloe asks, smirking cruelly. Mark, why is she packing her clothes into those bags? I am moving, he says. We are moving in together. You are leaving me for your boss and his daughter? Do not insult her, Mark snaps, his face turning red. You humiliated me in front of everyone I know completely. What truth could possibly justify destroying my life? Mark sighs and looks at me with deep, insulting pity. You are just too simple for me now, he says. Too simple? I gasp, gripping the strap of my purse. I need someone who can elevate my career, he explains. Chloe gives me the high-level life I actually deserve. You were just holding me back from real, absolute success. I supported you for 5 years, I yell at him. I paid your rent when you had absolutely nothing, Mark. And I am grateful, he says, his voice completely cold. But gratitude is not love. We outgrew each other entirely. Not a sad, small-town girl who only wants bacon. And changed dirty diapers all day, Chloe adds, smiling sharply. My hand twitches instinctively toward my perfectly flat, empty stomach. The positive pregnancy test feels incredibly heavy inside my purse. I came here today to tell him about the baby. You are pathetic, I whisper, staring directly into his eyes. Just leave the apartment key on the counter and go. Are you going to cry? Chloe taunts, taking a step. I bite the inside of my cheek until I bleed. My pride suddenly flares, hot and fierce, burning my sadness. I look down at my stomach for one silent second. My baby deserves a hero, not a weak, selfish coward. Mark measures human love by bank accounts and corporate titles. I have absolutely nothing to cry about, I say calmly. My voice is suddenly steady, cold, and completely dead inside. Good, then we are finally done here, Mark says quietly. Yes, we are entirely done, I reply, pulling my keys. I slide a silver apartment key off my metal ring. I throw the key hard across the quiet living room. It hits the granite kitchen counter with a loud clatter. I look at Mark one last time, swallowing my secret. I refuse to ever trap a man who hates me. I will keep this innocent baby a complete, hidden secret. Have a nice life, Mark, I say without blinking once. I turn around and walk right out the front door. I'm walking out of his life forever and ever. The cold hallway air hits my face as I leave. I'm completely alone now, but I will absolutely survive. My phone rings loudly on the cracked kitchen counter while I sit completely broke and alone. The caller ID shows Mrs. Davis, Mark's mother. I answer it, a tiny spark of hope lighting in my chest. Hello, Mrs. Davis? I ask her softly. Listen to me very carefully, her cold voice bites through the speaker. You need to move on. I just wanted to talk. Stop bothering my son, she interrupts sharply. He is marrying Chloe now. He has a real future. You were like a mother to me, I whisper, tears burning my eyes. I was polite to you, she corrects flatly. Do not contact us again. The line goes completely dead. I drop the phone onto the floor. The last shred of family I thought I had is completely gone forever. An hour later, I am sitting alone on crinkly paper in a sterile exam room, Dr. Evans. A kind, older man with gray hair walks in holding my chart. He looks deeply concerned. Your blood pressure is dangerously high right now, Dr. Evans says, pulling up a rolling stool. I have been under a lot of stress lately, I admit, staring at my shaking hands. I ask, panic rising thick in my throat. Right now, yes. But this is a very dangerous pregnancy, he says, looking me directly in the eye. If you do not manage this stress immediately, you will lose this child. Lose the baby? I gasp, my hands flying to my stomach. You are broke, exhausted, and barely eating. Dr. Evans notes, reading my intake form. You must change your life today. Do you understand me? Yes, doctor, I whisper, nodding slowly. I understand completely. Good, rest, eat well, and find some peace. I will see you next week. I walk out to my rusty car in the clinic parking lot. The heavy glass door is shut behind me. I grip the steering wheel and finally break down. Huge, wrecking sobs tear through my chest. I have absolutely nothing left in this world. No fiancé, no money, no family. But I have this tiny life inside me. I press both hands firmly against my flat stomach. I close my swollen eyes and make a silent, unbreakable promise to my child. I am so sorry I brought you into this miserable mess, I whisper aloud. But I swear to you right now I will fix it. I will be your mother and your father. Mark threw us away like worthless garbage, but he will simply never break us. I will build an entire empire for you if I have to. I wipe my wet cheeks with the back of my hand. The violent crying finally stops, replaced by a burning, fierce determination. I turn the key and start the roaring engine. I will survive this terrible nightmare, no matter what it takes to win today. Here, let me take that heavy box, Sarah says, grabbing the cardboard from my hands. I can manage it, I sigh, wiping sweat from my forehead. You are 6 months pregnant and working 2 jobs. Sit down, she commands gently. I need the money, Sarah. Rent is due next week. And you have an interview at the tech firm tomorrow. Save your energy? I nod, rubbing my growing belly. The next morning, I sit nervously in a sleek glass office. Mr. Harrison, a grumpy manager with very sharp eyes, flips through my printed resume. There is a massive gap here, he says flatly, tapping the paper. 6 months of doing absolutely nothing. I've been working 2 service jobs to survive, I reply quickly. Service jobs do not translate to corporate tech, he grunts. Why should I hire someone who fell off the professional map? Because I have something your other candidates do not, I say, leaning forward. Oh, really? And what is that? Desperation, I say with raw, brutal honesty. I am building a completely new life from scratch. I will outwork, outlearn, and outpace anyone else in this building because I absolutely have to. Mr. Harrison stops tapping his pen. He stares at me for a long, silent moment. You are pregnant, are you not? He asks bluntly. I am. Does that disqualify me? I challenge him. No, he says, a tiny smile appearing. It explains the fire in your eyes. I like fire. You start on Monday. Do not make me regret this. I will not, I promise, shaking his hand firmly. For the next 3 months, my life becomes a blur of relentless work. I sit at my kitchen table at 2 a.m, entirely surrounded by open textbooks and glowing screens. You need to sleep, Sarah mumbles, walking out of the guest room. I just need to finish coding this report, I whisper, typing furiously. It is the middle of the night. I know, go back to bed, please. She sighs and leaves. I rub my tired, burning eyes. Exhaustion threatens to pull me under. Suddenly, a sharp, fluttering kick hits the inside of my ribs. I gasp softly, placing my hand over the bump. I feel you, I whisper in the dark kitchen. I am awake, little one. Another strong kick answers me. Mark's cruel voice echoes in my head, calling me too simple, too weak. But that weak girl died the day he left me at the altar. I channel every ounce of that agonizing pain into pure, unstoppable fuel. I stare at my laptop screen and begin typing again. I will become a fortress for this baby. I will become completely untouchable. No man will ever have the power to break me or my child again. The path ahead is brutally hard, but I am ready. I take a deep breath, wipe away a tear, and force my fingers to keep typing until the morning sun finally shines through the glass. I gasped sharply, violently gripping the edge of my office desk. A sudden, massive pain shoots directly through my lower back. Are you okay? Sarah asks, instantly dropping her coffee cup right onto my messy desk. My water just broke, I groaned, staring in total shock at the wet puddle on the gray office carpet. Right now? In the middle of the major quarterly report? I do not think the baby cares about the corporate deadline, Sarah. Okay, get up slowly. I am driving you to the hospital. Wait, let me just save my important spreadsheet first. Leave the stupid computer alone. We are leaving right now. We rush frantically through the bright, sliding hospital doors. Dr. Evans quickly meets us in the cold delivery room, pulling on his sterile blue gloves. You made it just in time, Dr. Evans says very calmly. It hurts so much, I cry out, squeezing Sarah's hand until my knuckles turn completely white. Push on the very next contraction, Dr. Evans commands firmly. I cannot do this alone. I sob loudly. You are not alone, Sarah says, quickly wiping my sweaty forehead. You have me and you have this beautiful baby. Now push. I scream, pushing with absolutely every ounce of strength left in my exhausted, shaking body. A loud, incredibly beautiful cry suddenly fills the sterile hospital room. Congratulations, Dr. Evans smiles broadly, carefully cutting the cord. You have a perfectly healthy baby boy. A nurse gently places him directly onto my bare chest. He is tiny, red, and completely perfect. Hello, little Leo, I whisper softly, kissing his warm, soft head. He is so wonderfully beautiful, Sarah cries happily beside me. He is my absolute everything, I say, my voice completely steady. In that exact moment, holding my fragile son, the scared, heartbroken girl who cried endlessly over Mark completely dies. She vanishes forever into those bright hospital lights. A fierce, highly independent mother takes her very first real breath. I will gladly burn the whole world down to keep this little boy perfectly safe. 2 fast years completely fly by. Your presentation today was absolutely flawless, Mr. Harrison says, aggressively tossing a heavy financial folder onto his mahogany desk. Thank you, sir. The merger is now fully secured, I reply smoothly, sitting confidently across from him in my expensive tailored suit. You have completely transformed my entire department in just 2 years. I told you I was incredibly hungry. You are easily my top executive now, he says, leaning back comfortably in his large leather chair. I am promoting you to VP today. It comes with a truly massive pay raise. I accept your offer. Leo is starting a fancy preschool soon, and the yearly tuition is definitely not cheap. You earned every single penny of it, he says proudly. I step out of his sleek office and drive straight home to my new massive high-rise apartment. Mama, Leo yells happily, running quickly into my waiting arms. Hello, my sweet boy, I laugh brightly, spinning him around my spacious living room. I set him down gently and walk directly over to the large hallway mirror. I stare deeply at my own reflection. I do not see the pathetic, sobbing, abandoned bride anymore. I see a sharp, successful, dangerous woman. I straighten my silk collar and smile coldly. Let them watch me now. I am completely ready. Are you hungry, Leo? I ask him loudly. Yes, Mama, I want pizza. He screams joyfully. Then we will order the absolute biggest pizza in this entire city, I promise him. We deserve it. The crystal chandelier light catches the heavy silk of my stunning red dress. I walk through the crowded, high-profile business gala, completely demanding attention with every confident step. I head straight for the open marble bar. I will take a glass of champagne, please, I tell the bartender smoothly. Make that too? A deep, smooth voice interrupts right beside me. I turn quickly and look up. Julian, the handsome, incredibly powerful rival CEO of Vance Industries, smirks down at me. Julian, I say, taking my tall glass. Are you spying on my company tonight? I am only spying on you, he laughs, leaning casually against the bar. That red dress is genuinely dangerous. I dressed specifically to ruin my competitors, I reply, taking a slow sip. Well, consider me completely ruined, he jokes, his dark eyes sparkling. But seriously, your latest quarterly merger was absolutely brilliant work. Are you just trying to recruit me again? I ask, raising one eyebrow. I will never stop trying to steal you away from Mr. Harrison, he admits boldly. You are the sharpest executive in this entire room. I am incredibly expensive, Julian. I have very deep pockets, he murmurs, stepping just a fraction closer. We both laugh loudly, sharing a witty, deeply flirtatious moment. The live jazz music fills the elegant ballroom. I turn my head slightly to look at the dancing crowd. Suddenly, the lively music seems to completely stop in my ears. Standing directly across the massive room, holding a cheap drink, is Mark. My breath catches for a fraction of a second. He looks at least 10 years older. His expensive suit fits poorly, his shoulders are heavily slumped, and he looks entirely stressed and utterly miserable. He is staring right at me. I watch his jaw literally drop open. He freezes completely, a look of absolute terrified disbelief washing over his tired face. He clearly cannot believe the powerful, confident woman laughing casually with billionaires is the exact same weak girl he cruelly threw away at the altar years ago. He takes one shaky, hesitant step toward me. Is everything okay? Julian asks gently, noticing my sudden silence. Everything is absolutely perfect, I say, never breaking my intense stare. I look directly into Mark's wide, regretful eyes. I do not frown. I do not show an ounce of the deep pain he caused me back then. Instead, I slowly, deliberately stretch my lips into a freezing, completely cold smile. Mark swallows hard, his face turning entirely pale under the bright chandelier lights. I hold his pathetic gaze for one more second, making absolutely sure he sees exactly what he lost. Then I smoothly turn my back to him forever. Shall we go meet the strict board members right now? I ask Julian, smiling warmly again. Lead the way, my beautiful rival. He replies smoothly, offering his strong arm to me. I take it confidently, easily leaving Mark completely choking on his own bitter regret as we walk away entirely. I step out of the loud, crowded ballroom to find a moment of quiet in the long, carpeted hallway. I take a slow, deep breath, deeply relishing the sudden, beautiful silence around me. Suddenly, a hand violently grabs the delicate strap of my purse. Please, just wait, a breathless, desperate voice begs loudly. I spin around quickly. Mark stands directly blocking my path. Excuse me, I say, keeping my voice incredibly flat and even. Move out of my way right now. I cannot believe it is really you, he gasps, staring wildly at my red dress. You look absolutely incredible tonight. I'm not interested in your empty compliments, Mark. Step aside. Please, you just have to talk to me, he pleads loudly. I ask, letting out a sharp, genuine laugh. You do not get to be sorry. Now move. You do not understand my life, he cries, running a shaking hand through his thinning hair. Chloe is an absolute nightmare. She is incredibly toxic, and she completely controls my entire existence. She never lets me decide anything. That sounds like a personal problem, I say coldly. Marrying for money ruined my entire life, he continues, his voice cracking pitifully. Her father treats me like a worthless dog. She humiliates me daily. I made a massive, terrible mistake leaving you. You made a choice, I correct him smoothly. You traded me for a corporate title. You got exactly what you wanted. I was incredibly stupid and blind. You were greedy, I state mercilessly. And now you are paying the heavy price. He actually reaches out quickly and tries to touch my bare arm. I violently pull away in total disgust. Do not ever touch me, I hiss fiercely, my eyes blazing with deep anger. Your miserable, pathetic life is exactly what you truly deserve. I hope you choke on every single dollar you stole from my future. Mark physically flinches backward, looking completely broken and utterly shattered. Is there a problem out here? A deep, familiar voice suddenly interrupts. Julian steps smoothly out of the ballroom doors. He immediately places a warm, highly protective hand firmly on my lower back. He glares directly at Mark, his jaw clenched incredibly tight. No, Mark stammers quickly, his face turning pale. We were just catching up briefly. She does not look like she wants to catch up with you, Julian says, his tone dangerously low and extremely threatening. I suggest you walk away right now. Mark shrinks back instantly, totally humiliated. He cannot even look Julian in the eye. He simply turns around completely and quickly scurries away down the empty, long hallway like a beaten animal. Are you completely okay? Julian asks gently, turning his full attention back to me. I am absolutely perfect, I say, taking a very deep breath of the cool air. Do you want to go back inside the party? No, I think I'm entirely ready to go home right now, I reply, smiling softly at him. I slowly walk into the dark, quiet night air feeling a deep, incredibly dark sense of pure satisfaction. The heavy scales of justice are finally balancing out. Karma has truly started its beautiful work. I sit comfortably at the very head of the long, highly polished glass boardroom table. Mr. Sterling. The powerful CEO of our targeted acquisition firm walks quickly through the heavy double doors. Right behind him is his new family member, Mark Davis. Mark freezes entirely the exact second he sees me sitting casually in the lead decision-maker chair. He drops his expensive leather portfolio directly onto the hard floor. "Is there a sudden problem, Mark?" "I apologize completely," Mark stammers, quickly scrambling down to pick up his wildly scattered papers. "Take a seat," I command smoothly, gesturing to the empty leather chairs directly across from me. "Let us begin this pitch immediately." Mark swallows hard, his face pale and sweating. He connects his laptop to the main projector. His hands are visibly shaking. "Our third quarter projections show a moderate increase in total user engagement," Mark begins, his voice incredibly weak and trembling. "Stop right there," I interrupt calmly, flipping open his printed file. "Your slide shows a 10% increase, but your raw data actually indicates a 2% drop. Why are you presenting inflated numbers to this board?" "Well, we adjusted the baseline metrics to account for ... Mark stammers, wiping sweat from his forehead. "You hid the actual losses," I correct him flatly. "Mr. Sterling, is it your company policy to completely manipulate financial reports?" "Absolutely not," Mr. Sterling growls, turning his angry gaze toward Mark. "Mark, explain this massive discrepancy right now." "I just thought the projected marketing push would balance it out perfectly," Mark stutters defensively. "Hoping for a miracle is not a valid corporate strategy," I say, keeping my voice perfectly even and brutally cold. "Let us look closely at your team management metrics on page 4. Mark visibly shrinks in his expensive chair. "Your turnover rate is currently 40%, I state, looking directly into his terrified eyes. "You have lost 3 senior developers in just 2 months. Why is your staff completely fleeing your department?" "Actually, I spoke with them yesterday during our audit," I reply smoothly. "They cited incredibly poor leadership, stolen credit for their work, and a deeply toxic daily environment." The entire boardroom falls completely silent. Mr. Sterling turns entirely red with deep, utter humiliation. "Is this actually true, Mark?" Mr. Sterling demands loudly, hitting the table with his fist. "She's completely twisting the truth against me." Mark yells desperately. "I am reading from their exit interviews," I reply effortlessly, sliding the formal documents across the glass table. "The facts are entirely clear. Your department is completely failing, and your personal leadership is entirely responsible for this disaster. This is completely unfair." Mark pleads, looking wildly around the quiet room. "What is unfair is expecting my company to heavily invest in your incompetence," I say coldly. "Mr. Sterling, we are still interested in the merger. But my first condition is the immediate removal of Mark from any management position." "Agreed entirely," Mr. Sterling says firmly, glaring at his terrible employee. "Mark, pack up your office today. You are completely finished here. You cannot do this to me." Mark begs pitifully. "I think we are entirely done here today," I announce calmly, closing my formal folder. I stand up gracefully, smoothing down my tailored black blazer. I do not even look at Mark as he completely breaks down and sobs quietly. The absolute power shift is now entirely finished. I ruined his career without ever raising my voice. "You cannot go in there." My terrified assistant shouts loudly from the corridor. The heavy glass door to my office violently swings wide open. Mrs. Davis, Mark's mother, stumbles blindly into the room. Her face is pale and completely covered in dark running makeup. "Please, you simply have to talk to me," she sobs loudly, clutching her expensive black handbag. "Helen, call building security right now," I say calmly into my desk intercom, never breaking eye contact with the weeping woman. "Wait, please do not do that," Mrs. Davis cries, taking a frantic step toward my desk. "I saw the recent pictures online. I saw the beautiful little boy you were holding at the charity event. You need to leave my office immediately," I command entirely flatly. She begs, hot tears spilling down her wrinkled cheeks. "He has Mark's exact eyes. I know he is my sweet grandson." "You have absolutely no grandson," I reply, my voice completely steady and freezing cold. "How can he be so incredibly cruel?" She wails, pressing her violently shaking hands tightly against her chest. "I am a lonely aging woman. Mark is completely ruined, and his horrible marriage to Chloe is a total disaster. That sweet little boy is my only real family left in this entire world. You simply must let me see him. Do you remember the phone call we had 3 years ago?" I ask her, leaning back slowly in my leather chair. I called you when I was completely broke, terrified, and pregnant, I remind her smoothly. Do you remember exactly what you said to me then? I was just trying to protect my son, she stammers very weakly. You coldly told me to move on and stop bothering your precious son, I state absolutely mercilessly. You told me he had a real future with Chloe now. You threw me away like absolute garbage that day. I was horribly wrong, she cries softly, dropping her wet gaze to the carpet. Please forgive an old woman. I forgave you a very long time ago, I say entirely honestly. But forgiveness does not mean access. Leo has no father. And he certainly has no grandmother. 2 large security guards step quickly into my office. Madam, you need to come with us right now, the taller guard says, firmly grabbing her shaking arm. She screams desperately as they pull her forcefully toward the thick glass door. You cannot keep him away from me. Goodbye, Mrs. Davis, I say softly. I sit perfectly still in my quiet office, watching the heavy door close completely behind her. I listen carefully to her fading, pathetic sobs echo down the long hallway. I take a slow, deep breath. I expect to feel a massive rush of furious, burning anger. Instead, I feel absolutely nothing but deep, quiet pity for foolish people. Look at this right now, Sarah says, sliding her glowing phone across my granite kitchen table. What is it? I ask, wiping spaghetti sauce from Leo's tiny chin. Chloe Sterling just had a massive, completely unhinged meltdown at a luxury restaurant downtown, Sarah laughs loudly. It is trending everywhere online. The shaky video shows Chloe screaming at the top of her lungs, throwing a heavy crystal glass directly at Mark's head. You've been obsessed with her since that stupid gala. Chloe shrieks in the video, completely ignoring the shocked waiters. You are stalking your pathetic former fiancé while spending my father's money. Chloe, please lower your voice, Mark begs miserably, trying to hide his face from the recording cameras. I am divorcing you today. I pause the wild video and hand the phone back entirely calmly. Well, that is incredibly embarrassing for Mr. Sterling and his prestigious company, I note smoothly, picking up my fork again. It gets so much better, Sarah grins, aggressively cutting a piece of garlic bread. I called my friend in their HR department. Mr. Sterling was absolutely furious about the viral scandal. Did he fire him today? I ask casually, taking a sip of my cold water. He completely destroyed him, Sarah confirms, her eyes wide with deep excitement. He fired Mark immediately for his massive failure in your boardroom last week. Then he forced him to sign ironclad divorce papers this afternoon. Did Mark get a settlement? I ask, taking a slow bite of pasta. He got absolutely nothing, Sarah laughs loudly, shaking her head. He signed a brutal prenuptial agreement. Mark lost his executive job, his massive wealth, and his fake, toxic wife all in a single afternoon. Mama, more noodles, please. Leo suddenly shouts happily, banging his small plastic cup on the table. Of course, my sweet boy, I say softly, serving him another warm scoop. Are you not even going to celebrate? Sarah asks, staring at me in total disbelief. The man who ruined your life is finally living in a cheap motel with absolutely zero money. Karma entirely crushed him today. I am not going to throw a party for his pathetic downfall, I reply simply. You are entirely too calm about this massive, incredible victory today, Sarah insists loudly. My only real victory is sitting right here in this tall high chair, I say warmly, gently kissing the very top of little Leo's messy blonde head. I slowly look out the large glass window at the bright, beautiful city skyline. I do not feel any dark, burning urge to glow or cheer wildly. I just feel a deep, completely peaceful sense of quiet justice. Mark traded his entire soul for a mountain of stolen gold, and now his empty pockets are completely bare again. I simply smile quietly to myself, feeling the great universe finally balancing the heavy scales perfectly. Massive thunder completely shakes my windows while heavy rain violently pounds against the glass. A sudden loud knock echoes through my quiet hallway. I pull my soft cardigan tighter and slowly open the thick oak door. Mark stands on my front porch. He is completely soaked, deeply shivering, and utterly broken. What are you doing here? I ask flatly. Please, you have to let me inside, he begs, water pouring down his pale face. You are entirely unwelcome here. Leave immediately. He suddenly collapses, falling heavily onto his wet knees against the cold concrete. My mother told me absolutely everything today, he sobs violently, grabbing the edge of my doorway. She told me about the little boy. She told me about Leo. Your mother had absolutely no right to speak my son's name. He is my son too. Mark screams desperately over the roaring storm. I am his real father. He does not have a father, I state, staring down at him coldly. I made a massive, terrible mistake, he cries, tears mixing entirely with the pouring rain. I was incredibly stupid and completely blinded by greed. But I swear to you, I always loved you. I never actually stopped loving you for a single second. You traded my love for a corporate title, Mark. I want to be a real family again, he pleads loudly, his voice breaking pitifully. I want to be a good father to Leo. I have absolutely nothing left in this entire world. No money, no job, no wife, I need you. Please, just forgive me. I look down at the pathetic, sobbing man groveling on my wet porch. I search my heart for any lingering spark of sadness, any tiny flicker of ancient pain or leftover love. I feel absolutely nothing at all. Are you completely finished? I ask him, my voice completely steady and entirely flat. Please, just give me one single chance to prove myself, he begs, reaching a shaking hand toward my warm shoes. You made your final choice 5 years ago, I tell him mercilessly. You walked away from me when I was entirely broke and terrified. You left me to suffer alone. I can change completely. Just let me see my little boy. I will do anything you ask me to do. He screams. You are a complete stranger to us, I say quietly. No, please do not say that to me. You are my entire world. I cannot live without you both. If you ever come near my son, I will call the police immediately, I command softly. Without waiting for his pathetic reply, I step back safely inside the bright, warm hallway. I firmly push the heavy wooden door completely shut right in his crying face. I slowly turn the heavy brass lock with a loud, final click. I walk away smoothly, finally completely free, leaving him totally trapped outside alone in the freezing, dark, violent storm tonight. The warm spring sun is shining brightly as I walk slowly down the winding paved path through the green city park. Little Leo laughs loudly, holding on tightly. Julian walks right by my side, effortlessly carrying my happy son high in his broad shoulders. Go faster, Julian. Leo shouts joyfully, giggling into the breeze. Are you absolutely sure you can handle super speed? Julian asks smoothly, breaking into a light jog. Yes, I'm completely ready. My son screams with pure delight. Careful with him, I call out softly, smiling widely at the two most important men in my life. I always have him safe, Julian replies warmly, slowing back down to walk beside me. He's getting incredibly heavy, though. He eats like an absolute monster. I laugh brightly, reaching over to squeeze my boy's tiny sneaker. I am a hungry dinosaur, Mama, Leo roars loudly. You are my absolute favorite dinosaur, I say gently. Are you happy today? I am perfectly happy, I answer honestly. You built an incredibly beautiful life, he says softly. You earned every single bit of this piece. We built a beautiful life, I correct him smoothly, taking his free hand in mine. I look away for a moment, silently reflecting on my incredibly long, difficult journey. I did not actually have to lift a single finger to destroy Mark in the end. His own massive, blinding greed did all the heavy lifting for me entirely. He traded true love for cold money, and he ultimately lost absolutely everything. My ultimate revenge was never about ruining his pathetic life. My revenge was simply surviving the terrible storm, thriving entirely on my own terms, and finding genuine, beautiful happiness without him. I built an entirely new empire out of the terrible, dark ashes he left completely behind. I proudly stand here now, completely unbroken, fully loved, and incredibly safe in every single way imaginable. What are you thinking about so deeply right now? Julian asks smoothly, breaking my silent thoughts. I'm just thinking about how strange life truly is, I say softly. Strange how? He asks, smiling warmly. I thought my entire world ended completely the day I was left alone at that church altar, I explain quietly, looking directly up at the bright blue sky. But it was actually the beautiful beginning of absolutely everything I truly wanted. Sometimes the worst endings are simply the best beginnings, Julian agrees softly. Can we get big ice cream cones now, Mama? Leah suddenly interrupts loudly from above. Of course we can, my sweet boy, I laugh brightly. I watch my beautiful son smile down at me, his eyes entirely full of pure innocent joy. I pull Julian's strong hand just a little closer to me as we walk toward the ice cream cart together. I'm no longer a heartbroken victim crying in a white dress. I am the absolute winner of my own beautiful, perfect story.